What was it like at BitTorrent? What do you remember in your sort of first couple of months or the first day on the job? Does anything sort of come to mind that could contextualize that for people and what that experience was like for you?
Yes, absolutely. I think the jokey line I always say is like, imagine that your day at work consisted almost exclusively of people telling you illegal things. And then that you were supposed to turn that into useful product feedback. So, like people, I think it was really interesting. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me was that people were not shy about sharing their full experience and about saying those things. I mean, they'd signed, like, we had a mutual NDA, but like, that's not gonna, like, if we get subpoenaed, like, that's not helping you. Like,
is anyone from the FBI listening to this episode?
So really, I mean, it was really interesting because people were so open and they were so excited to help make something that they felt deeply connected to and that would like served this really important purpose for them, that they shared so much. And I was like, it was my first real experience with research where you were like, I would have expected to have to like really pull this out and like really work hard to get this information. And instead it just flowed out. It taught me a lot it really shaped my research approach in terms of how I treat individual interviews now, which is like, for the most part, I think a lot of early stage career researchers, myself included when I was there, really thought like, oh, this is more, I'm going to have to work really hard. And like, there are always participants where you have to work a little bit hard to get them warmed up. But I always thought I went in thinking, wow, I'm going to have to do so much more work to get the information I need. And instead, it just was constantly dropped in my lap. And I was like, I should just sit back and let people talk.
Is this from your users or from your colleagues or both?
Users.
Yeah,
Colleagues was interesting. Colleagues was, BitTorrent was a very small research team. I was managing one person and then we brought on an intern, and that was like, we peaked at 3 of us. It was 150 people when I was working there. And there were a number of different product teams, and it was really interesting, both helping the product teams understand how to incorporate research into their process, especially earlier on. That was the big emphasis because it was very much all usability testing and surveys when I got there. And so trying to get teams like, hey, we could save a lot of engineering time if we just didn't build this right away.
Yeah.
And maybe
if we just built the right thing, that might be useful.
What if we just talk to people about some ideas first? And so getting product teams, just getting research just a little bit further forward in the process so that we weren't building everything. We weren't constantly like coding and then doing research. So that was a lot of it was just sheer, I just spent all my time talking to people, like either users or product teams, and just being like, and that's been my philosophy ever since, is like, just be incredibly generous with my time, because the most important thing I do is help people understand what I do and how it can help them and understand how I fit into their needs and their world. And I had a lot of impact. And I think a lot of the way I was able to do that in terms of like getting research to a better place in the product development process was just, I wasn't shy about constantly talking to people and being like, absolutely, I have more time for this. I have more time for this. I have more time for this. Like the most important thing I do is meet with product teams and help them understand research. And like, we can push off everything else as long as it means that we are moving research to a better place and helping product to work faster.